You can successfully project an image of strength. You can perform confidence. You can seem kind, ambitious, or disciplined for a limited time. Yet subtle behaviors ultimately reveal the deeper truth. Machiavelli knew exactly how to pinpoint these. In a world often filled with misdirection, he couldn't afford to guess who was genuinely strong. He quickly learned, true inner weakness doesn't shout, it quietly shows itself. While genuinely strong individuals remain composed, others reveal their struggles through unnoticed patterns. Once you recognize these in others or yourself, you gain a powerful advantage: the ability to understand vulnerabilities before they become problems. These revealing patterns aren't always obvious. Most people overlook them. But Machiavelli wouldn't. He studied human actions like a strategist observing a game. He uncovered 3 key behaviors that instantly betray a fundamental lack of inner strength. Let's begin with the first and perhaps most subtle pattern: the constant justifier. Individuals who lack inner conviction often over-explain. Truly decisive people simply act. A person constantly defending choices or trying too hard to make others understand them isn't being honest. They're often revealing insecurity. Machiavelli saw this in influential circles. A confident leader spoke little, but someone less secure, a minister or someone pretending importance, talked constantly. They needed external agreement to feel sure of themselves. This behavior reveals a self-worth tied to being liked, not respected. Machiavelli saw it as a subtle plea for validation. Over-explaining is often a shield for apprehension, fear of disapproval, judgment, or losing influence. Anyone needing approval before acting will struggle with true power. Strategic power demands composure, conviction, and the ability to act without needing to explain. So when someone keeps explaining their opinion, repeating points, trying hard to sound reasonable or morally correct, you're not seeing strength. You're observing a quiet unraveling of inner resolve. The second pattern is even more nuanced: the strategically agreeable. This form of vulnerability is deceptive because it often comes with a pleasant smile. Machiavelli knew that indecisive individuals didn't always appear worried. They seemed friendly, helpful. But this wasn't always genuine kindness. It was often compliance disguised as virtue. A truly strong person can be kind, but their kindness is intentional, never at the cost of self-respect. A person lacking inner strength, however, tries to be agreeable at all times. They agree to avoid tension, compliment to be liked, stay quiet when they should speak, and apologize from worry, not error. When this fails to bring validation, they often shift, becoming resentful, sarcastic, or subtly aggressive. Why? Because their niceness was a tactic to avoid disapproval. When it fails, frustration surfaces. Machiavelli studied this. He wrote, "A leader must know what is necessary and not use it, unless truly compelled." Restraint is not fear, but strategic agreeableness is rooted in apprehension. It's the stance of someone who tries to stay subtle, hoping no one challenges them. When you see this compulsive friendliness that sours under pressure, you've found someone who cannot be fully trusted with influence. True influence demands setting clear boundaries, saying no without apology, and facing tension without collapsing into false pleasantries. Machiavelli would observe this behavior intensely, knowing it revealed, this person's commitment will likely waver when tested. The third pattern is more transparent and deeply revealing. When you observe it, you'll know you're encountering someone who fears being unnoticed above all else. The third behavior Machiavelli instantly classified as weakness was the attention seeker. You've seen it. The individual who constantly needs to be noticed. the one who can't remain composed without external recognition, who constantly posts, speaks loudly, exaggerates every success, turning every moment into a performance. Machiavelli saw these individuals everywhere. He understood, the person who needs constant visibility fears being forgotten. This apprehension is a key vulnerability, stemming from deep uncertainty about their own worth. Constant performance isn't genuine confidence. It's an automatic response from someone lacking a strong internal foundation. They believe if they aren't talked about, liked, or praised, they don't matter. Their value diminishes when external attention does. Machiavelli saw them as liabilities. These individuals will do anything for attention, misrepresent facts, embellish stories, even compromise confidences. They'll expose secrets, turn on collaborators, create conflicts, as long as someone is watching. In their mind, silence means irrelevance. Stillness means insignificance. The ultimate fear is to be overlooked. Machiavelli knew, a person driven by constant visibility is easily guided. To diminish their influence, strategically ignore them. Remove the spotlight. Minimize validation. Make them feel unnoticed. Observe their composure falter. While strong individuals develop in private, grow in quiet focus, and act with deliberate intention, the attention seeker struggles without constant external notice. They are easier to predict, simpler to influence, and difficult to truly trust. Machiavelli viewed a lack of inner strength as more significant than outright maliciousness. A malicious person knows what they want. The person lacking inner strength desires everything but compromises anything to get it. When you combine all three, the over-explainer, the agreeable tactic user, and the constant performer, you don't get a villain, you get a void. A person so lacking in internal solidity that they adopt the agenda of anyone more influential. Machiavelli understood, not just the aggressive, but the internally uncertain. A lack of inner grounding leads to unpredictable choices, causing unforeseen disruptions. Machiavelli didn't just identify vulnerabilities, he understood them strategically. He turned these behaviors into tools for prediction, subtle guidance, and advantage. Recognizing a lack of inner strength early could determine maintaining influence or facing challenges. These individuals don't just falter, they often collapse under pressure. In leadership, partnerships, and trust, you cannot rely on someone who crumbles under duress. If this message is already sparking a new kind of inner strength and clarity within you, and you're ready to master these powerful principles, hit the subscribe button now. Join our community to continue your journey toward unshakable self-command and strategic influence. Mastering strategic awareness, how to observe with precision. So how do you cultivate this awareness and protect your position? You observe. Stop judging people solely by pleasantries, words, or titles. Judge them by their psychological patterns. Study what they do when no one agrees, watches, praises, or gives them an immediate reason to act well. Look for subtle inconsistencies. The strategically composed individual doesn't panic in silence. They build, refine, plan. The person lacking inner strength performs, explains, or falters. Once you can instantly tell the difference, you gain a powerful asset: discernment. The ability to see not just who someone pretends to be, but who they will truly become when life gets challenging. That's how Machiavelli chose allies and avoided missteps. That's how you navigate effectively past those misled by appearances. Beneath words and curated images, consistent behavior always reveals truth. Machiavelli understood how vulnerabilities could be leveraged. While many react to weakness with frustration, Machiavelli reacted with strategy. Once you understand someone's emotional sensitivities, how they think, panic, or seek approval, you don't need to argue or oppose. You subtly guide them, like a quiet force behind a current. He understood. A person lacking inner strength desires to be guided, but doesn't want to feel controlled. So Machiavelli offered what they sought: praise when overlooked, agreement when insecure, flattery when needing validation. Not from genuine admiration, but from seeing their susceptibility. This was his true influence. He didn't use force. He guided them by reinforcing their emotional needs. This approach worked. He observed the over-explainer. Instead of challenging, Machiavelli listened, nodded, made eye contact, said, "That makes perfect sense." Instantly, the justifier often aligned himself, craving more validation, willing to support, even provide insights. It was leverage, not understanding. Then he approached the universally agreeable. He'd give him a specific role, make him feel valued and secure. That individual rarely acted against Machiavelli, not out of blind loyalty, but fear of risking his fragile identity. For the attention seeker, Machiavelli offered the platform. Let him speak prominently, take public credit for ideas serving Machiavelli's goals, projecting an image of influence. Behind scenes, Machiavelli shaped the narrative. He knew, if you give a person lacking inner strength the illusion of influence, they'll rarely question who actually holds it. Significant outcomes are shaped by enabling those lacking internal grounding to contribute, driven by their own desire for approval. If they acted against his interests, he didn't engage, he withdrew attention. They struggled without validation, undermined themselves, desperate to regain influence. Nothing challenges a person lacking inner strength faster than being ignored by the one whose approval once shaped them. That's the strategic art of navigating individual vulnerabilities. You don't argue or expose, you strategically guide them. While they seek external affirmation, you remain internally focused, composed, observing. While they pursue fleeting applause, you cultivate enduring influence. Machiavelli's ultimate principle: never let someone lacking inner strength believe they are your equal. The moment they do, they might forget who facilitated their position, overstep, fantasize about independent action. Maintain clear distinction. Acknowledge just enough to keep them engaged, but never enough to believe they no longer need your strategic guidance. If they challenge your position, no emotional retaliation, strategically reevaluate their role. There's no shortage of individuals eager for validation, but there's only one of you. That's the Machiavellian way. Not overt control, but subtle direction by understanding human nature. Not just managing people, but shaping their insecurities into reliable cooperation. No title, no crown, no loud voice needed. To guide those lacking inner grounding, all you need is understanding and composed silence. Machiavelli knew effective influence doesn't look like influence. It looks like genuine connection, mentorship, strong presence. Individuals lacking inner strength seek signals, not objective truths. They gravitate towards approval like moths to a flame. Once you know that, you can subtly shape their entire behavior without raising your voice. Machiavelli moved through power structures by allowing individuals seeking external validation to align with him. He played roles: patient listener, calm leader, subtle architect. He didn't resist their inherent patterns. He subtly reinforced them, enough to keep them aligned. In return, he gained cooperation without explicit demands, supporters without asking, aligned actions without commands. This is true strategic influence. The most effective control is unseen. They believe decisions are theirs, they chose to follow, they are proud of contributing. Not because you demanded it, but because you never had to. Developing internal fortitude, essential practices for strategic influence. Let's explore how you can cultivate this inner resilience. Practice 1. Master the art of measured communication. The more someone needs external validation, the more they tend to speak. Offer composed, strategic silence. Allow others to reveal themselves through their own words until they mentally affirm their alignment with you. When you do speak, ensure your words are valued. That single compliment, that subtle nod of approval, that rare piece of precise advice becomes incredibly meaningful to them. They seek it. They reflect on it. Now they're not just collaborating with you. They're working towards an internal reward, subtly activated by you. Practice 2. Cultivate inner calm amidst external turmoil. Individuals lacking inner strength often react emotionally. They might panic when plans change, overreact to criticism, or struggle when overlooked. You, however, do none of these things. You maintain composure. You act with quiet, deliberate intention. You become the opposite of their inner chaos. This contrast makes them perceive you as influential without you ever needing to claim it. They begin to project stability onto you because their own internal world might be unsettled, and once they do that, your influence becomes subtle and pervasive. Practice 3. Employ thoughtful, unpredictable affirmation. This is a nuanced, strategic approach. You don't offer consistent or predictable praise or support. You cultivate a sense of deliberate mystery in your acknowledgments. Some days you explicitly recognize them. Some days you maintain a calm distance. Some days you offer a subtle nod. Some days you don't overtly engage. Why? Because uncertainty, when carefully managed, can deepen engagement. They never quite know when your positive recognition will arrive, so they continue to seek it. They continue to try to understand you. They continue to speak about you. You become not just a leader in their mind, but a point of fascination. This is where profound psychological influence begins. When they start needing your presence, your guidance, your recognition, they subtly become more cautious of your disapproval. You don't have to overtly challenge them. Your thoughtful detachment often serves as a powerful mirror they cannot escape. And now their actions often align with your subtle guidance. Not through apprehension, not through overt demands, but through a deeper, more subtle connection, a form of psychological alignment. This is the art of understanding vulnerabilities and subtly guiding individuals towards achieving your objectives. And the beauty of it is this: they'll rarely fully understand how. They'll attribute it to admiration. They'll perceive it as respect. They'll believe they chose this path. But you'll understand the underlying dynamics. You observed the patterns. You understood the behaviors. And while they sought external validation, you cultivated strategic influence. Just like Machiavelli. There's one crucial aspect Machiavelli understood above all else: self-mastery. He believed that true weakness isn't just something you spot in others. It's something you must constantly examine within yourself every single day, because it doesn't always show up in obvious ways. It can subtly appear through over-explaining, through the need to be liked, through the craving for constant external approval, through the silence you should have strategically broken but didn't, through the apology you offered not because you were truly wrong, but because you were uncomfortable. Machiavelli believed that self-mastery was a continuous internal process, a daily effort. And if you faltered even once, Astute observers might notice the inconsistency before you did. So he developed a system, a way to detect a lack of inner resolve the moment it surfaced in his own mind. Here's how he approached it. Developing unshakable resolve. Machiavelli's principles of self-audit. Principle 1. Thoughtfully monitor your explanations. When you possess inner strength, you make clear decisions. When you lack it, you tend to over-explain them. Machiavelli trained himself to notice when he started communicating excessively, when he repeated a point unnecessarily, when he adjusted his message based on the perceived reactions of others. Each time he asked himself, is this truly an act of conviction, or is it a subtle plea for acceptance? If it was the latter, he paused, because he knew that seeking constant validation diminishes true authority. Principle 2. Carefully assess your agreements. Many people automatically say yes, but Machiavelli saw a weak yes as a potential vulnerability, agreeing simply to avoid conflict, agreeing to gain favor, agreeing without clear personal boundaries. He learned to pause before every agreement and ask, would I say yes if I didn't feel apprehensive about potential disapproval? If the answer was no, he respectfully declined. No unnecessary apology, no elaborate excuse. Because the moment your word loses its intentional weight, you lose a measure of personal power, even in your own estimation. Principle 3. Cultivate comfort with silence. Individuals lacking inner strength often dislike silence. They rush to fill it. They make jokes. They offer compliments. They explain themselves. Because silence can reveal underlying truths. But Machiavelli made silence his deliberate tool. He practiced it in environments filled with noise. He measured his own comfort within it. And when it felt tense, he leaned into that tension. Why? Because silence, when mastered, becomes a powerful presence. And presence, when mastered, inspires a subtle caution without needing overt intention. Principle 4. Strategically resist unnecessary exposure. The person lacking inner strength always seeks to be openly visible. The strategically aware person, they choose when to be seen. Machiavelli practiced a form of strategic invisibility. He observed others chasing the spotlight. He stayed in the background until every strategic element was in place. And then, when he finally acted, it wasn't perceived as mere progress. It was perceived as a decisive arrival. He didn't build anticipation through public announcements. He built it through periods of deliberate absence. So when he spoke, when he acted, when he made his presence known, people paid deep attention. That was no accident. It was trained, refined, strategically designed. He diligently removed every trace of behavior that might indicate a lack of inner strength before the world ever had the opportunity to use it against him. Because Machiavelli didn't just play offense, he strategically fortified his inner world against potential vulnerabilities, and that's what many people struggle to do. They strive to project strength, but they never truly ask themselves, do I seek constant praise? Do I fear disapproval? Do I speak to be merely heard, or to be genuinely aligned with my intentions? Do I need people to like me before I can lead them? Do I over-explain, when a moment of composed silence would have been more impactful? These questions don't just highlight potential vulnerabilities. They reveal your inner limits. And once you spot them, you have two clear paths. Reinforce them and remain within predictable patterns, or transform them and become someone the world cannot easily dismiss. Because in a strategically aware world, you don't face repercussions for being genuinely assertive. You face challenges for being predictable, emotionally impulsive, or lacking in inner resolve. So you thoughtfully remove these tendencies, bit by bit, word by word, decision by decision, until one day you speak and people pause. You move and people adjust. You lead, and no one questions how you achieved your position, because they won't see someone trying to project strength. They'll see someone who's been forged in deliberate quietness. Principle 5. Establish respect as a high standard. Respect isn't demanded. It's not asked for, and it's certainly not pleaded for. It's strategically cultivated. Machiavelli understood the blueprint. He knew that the highest form of respect, the kind that doesn't diminish in your absence, the kind that quiets a room before you speak, comes from one thing: mastery over what often challenges those who lack inner strength. You see, many people struggle with discomfort. They fear being misunderstood. They fear being disliked. They fear standing alone in a challenging situation. But the strategically aware individual, they embrace it. They don't flee from tension. They thoughtfully engage with it. They don't falter under scrutiny. They refine themselves through it. Because when you release the automatic urge to justify, when you stop seeking constant applause, when you remove every trace of apprehension-driven behavior, you become distinct from the average person. You become an unshakable presence. And that's exactly why people begin to respect you. Not because you speak louder, not because you try to be agreeable, but because you reveal a powerful internal composure, and that often inspires a deep caution in others. It's human nature. We are cautious of what we cannot easily categorize. So when you enter a room and don't project a need to prove anything, when you maintain your composure while others show unease, when your silence feels more impactful than their most elaborate words, you fundamentally change the dynamic. You don't pursue respect, you become the source of it. People begin to adjust their interactions with you. They communicate more carefully. They weigh their words, because they don't want to be perceived as lacking inner strength in your presence. Why? Because you've mastered what they haven't. You've released the need for constant validation. You've quieted the inner voice that craves attention. You've made peace with your own solitude, which makes your acknowledgement incredibly valuable. And valuable things are always sought after. This is the ultimate strategic principle. Make your respect something to be earned. Don't give it freely. Don't offer casual flattery. Don't smile without intention. Make others demonstrate consistency to earn it. Because once they realize you aren't swayed by charm, by pressure, by fleeting popularity, they'll adjust to your standard. They'll rise to meet it. Or they'll strategically disengage. And either way, you gain clarity and strengthen your position. This is how you guide, not with overt demands, but with an influence that is deeply felt. The kind that makes people ask, why does he make me consider my actions carefully? Why do I value his perspective so much? What does he perceive that I don't? That's not intimidation, that's presence. And presence is built by meticulously removing every behavior that signals a lack of inner strength in others and in yourself. Because once you've achieved that, once you've purified your communication, refined your silence, and made your inner identity unshakable, you become what Machiavelli admired most, an individual who doesn't just command respect, but inspires it as a natural outcome. Not through unkindness, not through apprehension, but through sheer, undeniable composure. You've become the standard they measure against, the mirror that reflects their own areas for growth, the quiet reminder that true strength never needs to loudly announce itself. So let those lacking inner strength reveal themselves. Let them talk. Let them seek attention. Let them pursue comfort. And while they do, you cultivate your own influence. In silence, with precision, until one day they can't stop observing you. And they'll never fully comprehend how they misjudged someone who never even engaged in their superficial games. That's the ultimate insight. You don't expose vulnerabilities by confronting them. You strategically reveal them by never needing to. That is the essence of Machiavellian influence. Like this video. If you're ready to stop chasing approval, subscribe. If you're prepared to become the kind of individual they can't easily guide, can't truly predict, and can never forget, because this isn't just self-improvement, this is an internal revolution, and you are becoming unstoppable.